Welcome to my studio. Today I am going to show you how to make this cute little pouch. I use mine for pencils and my pens for my sketchbook, and this is an elastic cording that allows you, let me put it on here, to put it around there so you never are at a loss, because I hate digging in my bag for a pen. So I'm going to show you a nifty little way to put in a zipper and how to make this cool little pouch. Alright, so to make this little pouch, see how this little pouch looks? It looks different than the fabric. And I don't know if you ever use bunny tails when you start seaming a project, and I love the way all the thread looks over and over again on the little bunny tail. So I thought, wouldn't it be cool to just add the stitching, add something. I would add more to maybe some different colors or something like that, but it just adds something interesting. So what we're gonna do is you're gonna cut two lining pieces, which are these blue ones, and you're gonna press down this 1/4 inch, one edge, doesn't matter which edge it is. Then you're also gonna cut two outside pieces, and you're gonna fold it down 1/4 inch, same thing. Now, the pieces are cut 4 inches by 8 inches. And for our visual peeps, which I am, you need to cut 2 of the outside, 4 inches by 8 inches, and 2 of the lining, 4 inches by 8 inches, okay? All right, so now I'm gonna just give you a little demo of how I just add the stitching to this. I put a color in that I like, and you just use your regular length stitch. If you want to make it longer, you can. But you just add your stitching. Now, one of the things that will happen when you add your stitching is that sometimes it will kind of scrunch up your top, so you want to press it after you add all your stitch, you want to press it. And just be okay with the fact that it might be a little wonky when you put it together, as far as it's depending on how you stitch on it. Anyways, so you just keep continuing on. You can sew down the edge if you want, and go straight across a couple times. There's so many different options, and it's kind of fun to add new lines. All right, so I found this zipper, which is way too long for my little pouch, but it is the perfect color. So you can always adjust your zippers. This is a cool thing about your zippers. So you're gonna want to measure your length. Well, you know that you cut it 8 inches, right? So we're gonna put our little handy dandy ruler on here. And you can see where the 8 inches is, right? But you're gonna have a 1/4 inch seam allowance on this end and a 1/4 inch seam allowance on this end. So you probably wanna make your mark for your end of your zipper around 7.5 inches. So I kind of put my finger on it. I'm left-handed, so I kind of got myself backwards. There we go. So put my finger on it, and I love these little clover chaku things. And I just kind of mark here. And I know exactly where I'm going to sew. Okay, so you can see that we have our little lines here. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take and put our machine to a zigzag on my machine, and then you're going to make your zigzag, so your width of your zigzag, I don't know if that's a zig or the zag, but the width is going to go all the way up to 5 on my Bernina. Now you need to understand, I don't know other machines, so I'm just giving you my 2 cents on this. So it needs to be a wide enough zigzag that you're not going into the zipper, you're going from edge to edge. Then I take it down to about 0.5 in the length of the zigzag. Again, is that a zig or a zag? I don't know. So we will go from there, and we're gonna go across, and we're gonna create one of those little ends. So make sure you have an open toe foot on, and I've made that mistake by having my little 1/4 inch foot on and broke that needle in a heartbeat. Okay, here we go. So we're gonna go back and forth. Then I'm gonna go backwards a few, and forwards a few more. It's up to you how many times you want to go across, but there's our little ending piece. We'll trim our little threads, but that's going to be your end, and then you're going to make sure you cut. You're going to cut this. You're going to make sure what you do is you're going to cut at the end here. We'll do that next. Okay, so after we have put on this lovely zigzag stitch across the bottom of the zipper here, you cut about a 1/2 inch. So you cut off that piece, and this is what we're going to use. Now this stitch is also what I use to secure our handy dandy little cording onto one of our sides of the bags. So I've already stitched this cording across here. I cut it a little bit longer, about 1 inch longer actually, than the size of this piece. So instead of cutting 8 inches, you cut 9, just for the give factor, and these things like to roll around a little bit. So I like to give a little bit there so it's not perfectly straight and tight, because you want to be able to actually get it around something. Then I just slide it right under, put my foot right on the top of that, about 1/4 inch in, probably a little less since that's where you're going to be sewing. And I just give it a few stitches, a couple back stitches. And really what this is doing is securing this for when you pin your pieces together, and this doesn't slip because it's annoying, and I learned it the hard way. All right, so we have our 2 pieces, we have our zipper. Now, this is the cool part. First off, you need some Scotch tape. Now I saw this on it must have been a blog or something like that somewhere. I did not come up with it. I think it's very clever, so please do not give me credit for this because I did not, but I think whoever did is brilliant. So, you're gonna line up your folded ironed edge, right, to the edge of your zipper on one side. Then you're gonna line it up on the other side. And you know, it's a little bit thicker where the pull is on the zipper, but you just kind of get it lined up. Goodness. Then, yeah, and if you don't press evenly, you get that. So make sure you press good. Then you're gonna take a piece of tape and put it across, like that. Okay. And then I like to move this a little bit and do one in the middle. There we go. Now up here, you want to put the next piece of tape down a little lower, because when you start sewing your zipper on, you're gonna have to move this guy down. So you wanna put the tape down here because it doesn't like to go, this guy doesn't like to go through the zipper. Now, once you have that done, you're gonna flip it over. And you're going to take your lining pieces and you're going to face them also right sides down to the edge of the zipper. All right, that side. Here's our other side. And you're going to tape those. 3 pieces of tape is about just perfect. It's less to have to pull off later. And the reason I love this technique is because no matter how delicate and fine your little pins are, you try to put through here through the zipper fabric and your 2 pieces to make it nice and even. It never happens. And it's nice to have it pretty inside and out, right? Okay, so I'm gonna put my last piece right there. All right. Now we are going to sew the zipper in. Okay, we are ready to sew the zipper in. Now, put your zipper foot on. Remember to put your machine back to straight stitch. Again, I have not done that and zigzagged and broken needle. Anyway, then you're gonna move your needle over all the way to the left. And what I do is I line this up, put my foot down, and now I'm going to stitch along this edge almost to where the zipper pull is. Oh, and I just sucked in that thread. Darn it. Okay, then I like to unzip a little bit so that you get past that head of the zipper and you get a nice, even spot. Then zip it back up. Now you're just going to carry on. Sew right through that tape. And trust me, it comes off great, especially if you're using Scotch tape for whatever reason. Get down to this end here, make sure you line it up. And then we're going to sew the other side. So I lift up. I just turn my little guy around. I don't know if it's out of making it easier or what, but I'm gonna put this back down, and here we go. Yeah, and right through that tape. Now you're gonna go, you know, up to the little bit before the base of the pole. Stop. I have my machine set on needle down, so just make sure you put your needle down so it doesn't slip. And then unzip again, which this sometimes is tricky getting that guy over there. And because the top of this is kind of funny, you got to reline it. Here we go. And you're done. Now, pull off your tape. Okay, so we're going to undo the zipper from here, and we're gonna put our outsides right side together. Now, when I do that, I push the inside seams down, and that makes sense. So then we are going to pin this. Now, here's one of those points where I told you it would be a little bit, the stitching might make it a little bit smaller. See how it's a little bit smaller here than here? You can compensate for that when we sew it up. So now we're going to pin around this, okay? So I want you to pin around the entire piece except the very bottom here where these guys meet. And then we are going to sew it, and you're going to see how quick and easy it is to put this together. All right, so we've pinned everything together on here, right? Now, remember to put your machine back to its normal stitch, not a zipper stitch. And I put my 37 foot on, which is like a 1/4 inch foot, just because I'm going to be using a 1/4 inch seam allowance around this whole piece. I am going to start, now it's probably about 1 inch in from your lining piece, and I'm going to stitch around this using 1/4 inch, turn it, don't sew over your pins, because when you sew over your pins, you break needles. Sometimes you don't, sometimes you do. It's kind of one of those hit or miss. Then also, as you are coming to this area that's very thick, take your time, be careful, try not to break a pin. How about that? There we go. So you're gonna sew around the whole thing. So I've sewed all the way around, and I'm going to come back around about 1 inch, same as I did on the other side of your pocket. Your lining. I shouldn't be able to say pocket, but your lining. And once we do that, about 1 inch-ish. I don't measure sometimes, and that's okay. Now, I'm going to show you how this turns right side out, and we finished. We have one more thing to do. All right, so we have this awkward looking thing right now. You're wondering if she really knows what she's doing, right? Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to take and put your finger in here, and you're going to push your corners of these two, of your outside, and you're going to pull it through this. And look, here you go. There's the outside of your bag. You can push up that corner a little bit. You can come over here and push up your zipper a little bit. Now you have this lining. Again, you're going to push the corner through. Oh, look, you can see my little rat's nest there. That is why I use bunny tails right there. Anyway, so we're going to pull this all the way up and do this corner. Now, we have this big open space. What I do is I tuck it in about 1/4 of an inch, about the same as your seam allowance. You can press it if you need that. It's on the inside, so really it's not a huge ginormous deal. And now what you're gonna do is you're gonna just top stitch right along the edge of this, and you'll catch the whole thing. You're gonna go from end to end, and you're going to top stitch. Alrighty. Oh, my elastic stuck. Alright. The things that happen when you sew. Here we go. Now, we trim our little threads, right? And then we tuck it in. And voila, you go press your nice, cute little pencil case. And or whatever you want to use it for. Makeup, you know, all that good stuff. Anyway, fast and easy way to put in a zipper and cute little pouch to go with it. Do some nice pressing and you're good to go. Thanks for coming to the studio and learning how to put in a zipper an easy way with Scotch tape.